grab your popcorn, kick back and relax, because it's time for some more Carnage. So, in today's video, one person in the comment section was actually asking for a test with medics in terms of battle orders. So they wanted to know whether, when you use battle orders, whether medics are affected the same as normal troops. And while I did say they did, he was interested to see a bit of a test on the subject anyway. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. So, as conclusive as always, you can see my medics do 32 heal per second. It doesn't tell you the heal rate, but I have got a little bit of stats here, so I will bring up my artillery, because we're going to be using artillery to test this. So it does 6,264 damage. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be putting my tank in a scenario where nothing can hurt my tank. I am going to hit my tank with one artillery shot, and then I'm going to let 15 medics, which is 3 boats of medics, heal it up, and we're going to see how long it takes it to heal it up when there's nothing dealing damage to the tank. So it's basically letting it free reign. So there's a few things with this test that are going to be sort of influencing factors that are going to determine, that are going to sway the results a little bit, and I've done my best to put my troops in a situation where this would not be the case, but of course it was quite difficult to do this. So you want, what's her name, Sergeant Brick, when she activate her battle orders, you want her to be in a position where she is in range of all the medics. I didn't want my tanks to destroy the target, so I was trying to place smoke over the tanks so they didn't destroy anything. Then I was trying to make sure all of my medics, and this is the main one that's going to screw things, I want my medics to all be in position where when I drop the artillery shell on the tanks, they can start healing immediately. So I didn't want them to be like halfway across the map and have to walk across and get to the units and waste time where half of them are healing and half of them aren't. So I done my best to create a test scenario where all this stuff wouldn't be problems. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that. So we're going to remove a few buildings off the beach here. This is a resource base that some of the guys, this one guy and me, we go back and forth with it, but we're nice enough to leave it on the HQ, so it's easy takeaway. It just helps with supply chests, so you don't have to attack so much. So all my medics are in position right now, and this is the one that isn't going to use battle orders. So we're going to see exactly how long it takes here to heal that, and that's about 15 seconds. So have you seen the timer when it started and when it finished? That was about 15 seconds. Maybe a tad more. If you wanted to go into the milliseconds, maybe 15.2. But about 15 seconds there. So that's really the important thing. I was trying to find a scenario where I could test whether it was the heal per second that was changing, or the heal rate, or both. And to be honest, there's just no way to get that exact calculation. So what I'm going to be doing is just a simple test to see whether it is being affected. So I think that's really the best case scenario here. My attacks, no. Oh, that's right. I didn't do the next that one there. I did it as a friendly challenge. So we're just gonna have to go through here. There it is. Whoops, that's the wrong one. My bad. So you can see how many attempts I made at that. I made like, I think it was 4 attempts. Yeah, 4 attempts. So I was making sure that nothing hit it, and everything. So I worked out that this little bugger was hitting my Sergeant Brick and affecting my results. So I took that out. Took out the boom cannon, so that didn't affect the results. And if I remember correctly, I was stacking battle orders, although stacking doesn't actually change the result. So battle ordering there, just to make sure everything was started the moment that he started healing. So from beginning to end, that was about 11.5 seconds, thereabouts. So I'm just trying to speed this along here. So you guys can pause the video, go back, look at the replay timer, because that's the honest way of looking at it. Because you guys can see how long, where it was in the replay when the smoke comes out, and when it comes back out. And just to show that I'm being legit, I will go back, because I think I actually had that in 4 times. Not 4 times, like 2 times. So we'll go half times, just so you guys can get a better idea of like when the exact artillery shell hits. Bam. So right on 15 seconds. So we'll just 2 times it till we get near the end. Now we'll go half times. Yeah. So about 11 and a bit seconds. So, you know, if you look at that, that was about 15 seconds without battle orders, 11 and a bit seconds with battle orders. So if you use a calculator and you go 15, which is the amount of time it took without battle orders, and you minus 22%, which is the level of my battle orders, so I probably should prove that. Level 4 battle orders, 22% damage bonus. So if you minus 22%, now most calculator functions have a percent button that you can press to do that. If you can't, there is ways of calculating it. I suggest going online and getting the mathematics for percentages. I can give you guys that anyway, just in case. So the way of doing that is bracket 22 minus, we'll start again. Bracket 22 divided by 100, close bracket, times, and you do 15, which is the amount of time it took on the first result. And that will actually give you 11.7 seconds, which is about how long it took us without battle orders. So, I mean, when we're using battle orders, that was about how long it took. So, what that math actually shows you is when you minus 22% from 15, you get 11.7, which is how long it took us which is how long it took the medics to heal the tank from that artillery shell without anything hitting it, or without anything affecting the results. And obviously there might have been maybe like a 0.2 or 0.1 difference in the actual result, and that's literally because of what I said. Like, you need to get the exact moment on that first replay that it ended. So I might have been off by like a decimal place on that first result, which would have affected the 11.7. But in any case, like, it proves that it was about a 22% difference, because if you had have gotten a 50% difference, the second attack should have only taken 7.5 seconds to complete, which it clearly didn't take that long. It took a lot longer than that. So the 11.7 proves that even the medics are affected the same way as the troops from my first video, which was battle orders, everything you need to know. In that video, in case you didn't watch that, I demonstrated that my Sergeant Brick's battle orders, the 22% does actually apply as not only a damage increase, but an attack speed increase as well. And the 50% for speed, the 47% speed increase literally is just as what it says. It's a speed increase literally to movement only, not attack speed. So I hope that clears some stuff up for you guys anyway. There was someone on the forums asking whether the battle orders has it doesn't stack obviously for damage per second, but they were asking whether it stacks for an attack speed as well. And the obvious answer to that is no, it doesn't. Because if the damage bonus percentage applies as an attack speed bonus as well, then if the attack, if it's not stackable for the damage per second, then it obviously isn't going to apply to attack speed either, because that percentage applies as both the damage per second increase as well as the attack speed increase. So that figure applies to both things. So if the stacking doesn't apply to one, it's not going to apply to the other either. And really, I did this test more because it was asked, but it was sort of obvious to me that the medic's heal would be applied as the same way with battle orders as what it would with a troop, because although it says healing per second, when you program that, it's still going to be considered damage per second, because although it's not doing damage, the only difference is whether in like programming terms would be like a minus or a plus sign, pretty much. So with damage per second, it's literally minus X amount from a building. Whereas with healing per second, it's like plussing that amount onto a troop. So really, you'd use it. It just seems logical to me anyway. But anyway, this test does prove that battle orders does affect medics along with other troops. So I hope you guys enjoyed that anyway. I thought you guys might like it. I know only like 1 or 2 people were asking for this, but I thought some of you guys might like to see it anyway. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.